Hello, everybody. Welcome to James Squared, the 25th episode. Be sure to mention Halos in the Infield and subscribe on YouTube and Believe.com and go to Noble L Works for mention Halos in the Infield there at 1621 Sinclair Street, Suite B, Anaheim, California, there 92806. Be sure to mention Halos in the Infield for drinks discount on drinks, and they have theme nights pretty much every night. I was there a couple weeks ago. They have so much on their schedule, so check them out on Instagram as well. Mezzo Calzones. It's a good place to go get some wings or some calzones. Good beer selection. Me and Todd and others will do lives there. And also, I think August 31st, that Saturday, I think about 10 a.m., part of OC Dugouts happening going on. Ben Joyce will be signing autographs there. So check that out on August 31st. 714 tickets, Milu.
714 tickets, 714 tickets. Call today and go tonight.
And I forgot, just like at Mezzo, you'll get 15% off there, off your order if you mention Halos in the Infield. Go to 714 tickets, and you will have 10% off when you put in the code HITI. I've done that to find some Angel tickets for everyone, and it's a really, really good thing that they got going there. I mean, you can buy for concerts, whatever you want, Milu.
Absolutely.
And then let's go to Bet Online. Bet Online is your number one source for all the games this season, every stat, every matchup, and even live odds while the games are being played. And then when the games are over, go to the online casino and get on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with 150 slot games and more. Head on over to the website today to get on the action, and don't forget to use that promo code BELIEVE, all in capital letters, BLEAV, for your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. With football starting up this weekend, or at least college football, you want to get in on the action, definitely. Bet Online, the game starts here. So Milu, let's recap the previous series that happened. Now, it started off, I was with Todd and the gang on that Friday the 16th, and the Angels somehow held on to win 3-2. Yours truly called the Ohapi home run, although it was to right center, not left center, like I called it. But that got him out of a 0-for-29 slump with that home run. The Braves left people on, and it was some missed opportunities. Even though Osuna went 3-for-4, they left 11 men on for the Braves, so that was interesting to see. Moniak also had a big hit as well. Burke got the win, and Joyce got his second save, so it was good to get the win there on Friday. But then Saturday came, and Atlanta remembered who they were. They won 11-3. Chris Sale got the win. He struck out 12 Halos, I believe, and Griffin Canning just did not have it. Me and Todd, I know, did the post game both of those days, Friday and Saturday. And again, we were watching the game, and I'm sorry, he struck out 10. I was thinking about his last performance against San Francisco. But in 5 innings, he was just awesome. Jimmy Herget did come in to get to give up a run against the Angels, but it was no problem. So Canning got the loss. And then you talk about Sunday afternoon. Again, it just felt like a series of just missed opportunities. Charlie Morton got the save. Kahanawin's got the loss. Iglesias got the save, the former Angel. The Braves won 3-1. Laureano had a big home run there, as well as Matt Olson had a single. Before that, it was a sacrifice fly that gave Atlanta a 3-1 lead, and they would end up winning. Now, the Angels went to Kansas City, and that Monday They lost 5-3. Lugo got the win. He's 14-7. He's really good for the Angels. I'm sorry, against the Angels. Remember the start earlier this year said Lugo had a great one. Fulmer got the loss. He's kind of turning not into a starter anymore, but maybe a long reliever. Maybe that would be the case for him. But Salvador Perez, I think, was playing first in this series, but he's still hitting out there, and he's still really good. Paul DeJong had a home run. Adele had a double to bring home two to make it closer, but then Salvador Perez again with the base hit that brought in two. And homer for Zach Neto, but the Angels end up falling short 5-3. The next day, the Angels somehow won 9-5. Zach Neto had another home run. Tyler Anderson pitched well enough, and Reagan's got the loss for the Royals. The game started off pretty much with Pilar doubling in a run to make it 1-0 in the top of the fourth. Pasquantino had a double to make it 2-1 Angels there. And then, what was it? Oh, yeah. Before that, Rendon had a sacrifice fly to make it 2-0. Renfroe singled home. Pasquantino make it 2-2. And then Neto had the home run in the top of the sixth. Ohapi had an RBI single, make it 4-2. Rendon had a single to make it 5-2 to bring home Pilar. Pilar had a sac fly to make it 6-2 in the top of the seventh. And then 7-2, Ohapi had a single in the seventh as well to make it 7-2. And you thought, okay, we're on the way. Nope. Bottom of the seventh. And it's always been a thing where it felt like the Angels, when they score a run, they give up runs right after. And here it was. Bobby Witt Jr. doubled home a run to make it 7-3. And then Pasquantino singled home 2 runs to make it 7-5. And you thought, oh no, they're going to come right back. But in the top of the ninth, Adele had a double that brought home a run to make it 8-5. And then Jack Lopez had a sacrifice bunt, and it was a really, really good one that brought home Adele to make it 9-5. And the Angels did hold on winning there. So that was a really, really good game the Angels played despite that seventh inning. So the bullpen came in and held it down. Now, the day after, unfortunately, you had Michael Lorenzen, the former Angel, starting for the Royals, and they ended up shutting out the Angels 3-0. MJ Melendez, let's start. No, bottom of the second, Isabel had a double to bring home a couple runs to make it 2-0. Melendez hit his 15th home run to make it 3-0. That was pretty much it. We mentioned Johnny Cueto. He had that start, and we'll talk about him in a little bit. No, I guess now we'll talk about him and his first start, Milu. So, what did you see? Let me mention his numbers though. His line. He got the loss, of course, but he went 6 1/3 innings with 1 strikeout. His ERA at 4.26, but he gave up 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. And you figured he would struggle eventually against, major league hitting after finishing or facing all those minor league hitters, you would think. But he's 38. He got a nice standing ovation going off the field after being taken out. So what did you see from Johnny Cueto?
I think he pitched a pretty great game in his first start as an Angel. We just didn't give him any run support, and he looked sharp out there, through the innings that he pitched. He only gave up 3 runs, so his first start was actually pretty good for a 38-year-old, this late in the game. But all in all, if we would score some runs for Johnny Cueto, we would have won that game, obviously. But I was impressed of what I saw. He had all his stuff working. It was good. It was just a shame that once again the Angels can't score any runs.
It was unfortunate because
it was very unfortunate.
that always seems to be a thing. If somebody gets a good start, the day before Anderson had a good start and he got the run support, and that's a rare thing to happen. And then with Cueto, it felt like, hey, you have to bring him up. He's doing that well down there. You have to see what he has left. Maybe someone else will take him, in spring training later on. Or maybe he just wants to go out in the blaze of glory. Who knows what it is. But, so yeah, the Angels, they lost 2 out of 3 in both series. The standings goes as follow. The Angels ended up going back to last place at 54-73, 14.5 out of first place. The A's now a half game ahead of the Angels at 55-73. In the division, Houston leads Seattle by 5 games. Seattle, of course, making news along with the Angels we'll get to. But they have fired Jerry Dipoto. The GM has fired Scott Service, the now former manager of the Mariners, and Dan Wilson, the former catcher, will take over for the Mariners. So I wasn't shocked by it, but they mentioned, hey, we kind of need a new voice in the clubhouse. And I thought, though, they would write it out. But maybe they're that dejected. I know they had a tough series against the Dodgers in LA the last couple of days. They really, the game really got out of control yesterday after, I think it was 8-1 after a while for the Dodgers. But just amazed to see what happened. And again, with Cueto, it's a great ideal situation for him. Milu, let's get to the big news of the day before we move on to other things. So GM Perry Minasian was extended to 2026. I didn't know what to think, but it's good just to see what he can do past this. And it kind of gives Ron Washington another year on his contract. Of course, there's no speculation now that he'll make it to the second. He'll not make it. He will make it to the second year. But Artie Moreno mentions over the last 4 years, Perry and his baseball operations staff has begun to lay the foundation for a bright future of Angels baseball. We have been impressed by the steps Perry has taken to infuse our major league team with young and exciting talent while also revamping our player development process. We believe this extension will allow him to continue the vision of building sustainable success through the Angels organization and deliver a championship for our fans. I don't think he wrote that, Milu.
No.
Perry went on to say, quote, Perry went on to say, quote, I am incredibly thankful to Artie and Carol Moreno for their continued trust and support. I would also like to thank John Carpino for the tremendous working relationship we have developed over the last 4 years. And I look forward to continuing our plans, bringing the Angels back to being a consistent championship contender, unquote. So, that was a load of BS on both sides. With Artie running things. What did you think about the news today of Perry Minasian being extended to 2026?
Actually, I was kind of taken aback by it, quite honestly, because a few weeks ago when he was commenting on Trout's injury, it seemed like he already checked out, like he was on his way out of the organization. But I guess not. I guess he's staying for another 2 years. All the reaction that I've seen so far on social media is a mixed bag, mostly bad. A lot of people don't want Perry to stay, but he has built the young core that we're seeing right now playing for the Angels. Shawniwell, Neto, Ohapi, soon to be Christian Moore when he's brought up, probably next month sometime or the next couple weeks. Moniak. It's he has done some things for this organization, and a lot of people don't really think about that. But he's also, our farm system's still bottom of the Heat.
Yeah,
You know,
29th out of the 30th.
Out of the 30th, which is we've gone up a little bit. So I guess that kind of validates why he was extended. But most people think it's a bad thing. But Artie's the one pulling the strings, after all. He's the puppet. So, is the extension a bad thing? We'll see. But if he can improve this team, my thought is we're going to hit hard. We're going to hit free agency hard in the offseason. Hopefully.
Man.
We never know what these guys are thinking, but I'm thinking we're actually going to do something. This year was just to see what we had. This next season, this next offseason, we hit free agency hard. This is my thought. This is my opinion. We hit free agency hard. We bring Christian Moore up. He gets, inputted in the young core here, in the lineup. And we have some horses. We get some pitching finally. And then hopefully there's no injuries, but you know how that goes. Mm-hmm. And we have a good team that we can field for a season. Maybe we make a wild card appearance. Maybe we make one of the wild cards. But I think it's pretty valid that we do improve this team. And Perry always wants to improve this team. That's number one with him. But it's all up to Artie, because Artie has got a medal in baseball operations. He's the guy with the money. So whatever Artie Moreno says goes. But I think Perry, for the life of him, I think he really does try. I think he's probably one of the better GMs in the compared to Epler and DePoto in the last decade, I think. I mean, he's actually brought us some young talent. But the jury's still out. He's had some stinkers. They all do. Last year was a stinker. That we could have traded Ohtani, but we were in the thick of things, so they didn't. And everybody knew that he was leaving. I think the whole world knew he was going to leave the Angels. That was obvious. But maybe you should have. I think it was more Artie Moreno didn't want to trade Ohtani at that time. Mm-hmm. Perry could have got. We could have got. Boatload of. We could have been in a different position right now if we would have traded Ohtani. But that's a whole other show. That's he's a Dodger now, so that's all in the past now. But I think it could be a good and a bad thing. I don't know. It's going forward. We don't know what these guys are going to do, what he's going to do. So I'm hoping he improves the team. He drafted well in this last draft, so his drafts are getting better. So we'll see. They just need to. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this offseason unfolds once the season's over. Yeah, there was a lot of talk that he wasn't going to come back. And then based on what happened last season around this time, where the players that they acquired, he just waived them, got nothing for them, just quickly fell out of favor, and then you're in a lame duck year, bring in one of your own guys with Ron Washington, and the team brought in Wash. You're just looking for some progress, and I think you've got that. You mentioned the young core. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but they're at least progressing, and then there's more coming, but not at the AAA level, but at the single A and double A level. You wish it would be more AAA. You wish they would be ready, but maybe they're going to skip a step like all these draft picks have. But we'll see what happens from that. Let's get to let's see some other notes here, if there's any from the Angels. But yeah, the big news today was Perry Minasian getting an extension, and really, I thought it was a fake story in a way.
but I guess it wasn't. I was kind of turned back from it, considering what happened before with the rumor that Service was going to get fired.
Yeah.
So some other news came out though. Hans Kraus was optioned back to AAA Salt Lake City. He had a first couple of good outings, or no, for 4 or 5, he got a couple of wins, and then after a while, his stuff wasn't as good. He was optioned back to AAA Salt Lake City, and Jose Cisnero was released, and that's what made room for the Johnny Cueto option. Was Kraus being opted down there. Kraus only 25 years old. He's of course a righty. He had a 3 ERA. He struck out 33 batters in 24 innings. He was scoreless in his past 6 innings, striking out 8 batters. So he was good, bad, and good again. But the Angels needed to get a starter up. And what I'm reading, he was the only man with options left. So sometimes, you have to take that bullet, according to Ron Washington. It's just sometimes about numbers, he mentioned. So I would love to see him back one day. Cisnero, DFA'd, of course. He's 35 years old. Had a 6.89 ERA in 15 games with the Angels this season. Just wasn't enough.
Flat out terrible.
Yeah, and every time he came, he was coming in, you thought, he's in just to put more gasoline on the fire, kind of. It was unfortunate. Now, let's talk about the Blue Jays, the series going on starting tonight. It's already been, the first game already going. We remember, what was it, a couple of weeks ago, the Blue Jays swept the Angels at the Big A. It was the 12th, 13th, and 14th. So it was last week of August here. 4-2, 6-1, and 9-2. I mean, the Angels, other from Monday, had no chance the other 2 games. And, said again, they got some great offense from Wagner's son. And again, he poured it on today so far for the Angels. As we're talking, it's 5-0 in top of the 6th. You mentioned Burke got the start, and it was a 1-inning appearance for him. Bachman had 1 inning, and then Canning has pitched the last 3. So Canning not starting this game. But Burke gave up 3 runs. Bachman has given up 2. It's just been oh no, it changed on me. Excuse me. 3 and 2 runs there. So what happened in this game, Milu, that you mentioned for the Jays?
Well, there was what I call a collective cycle, meaning 4 players in an inning hit a single, one hit a single, another hit a double, another hit a triple, and then a home run. So you got the collective cycle.
Wow.
The Blue Jays there. Yeah, 1 inning. And that was the product of Burke and Bachman.
That was the second inning where they scored 5.
Right, when they scored five runs. We were off to a pretty good start at the beginning. Burke was pitching well, finding his spots, locating the ball. But then it all fell apart in that second inning. But now it's 5-0 in the 6th. Yeah, this game's probably over. So
yeah,
we haven't scored. We got shut out yesterday. So let's see. The Angels haven't scored a run, and let's see, almost like 15 innings or something like that. Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot it was a shutout yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, Canning is still going, but the offense isn't going for sure. The Blue Jays themselves, they're 59-68. They're right.
Good.
They're right down there.
Right.
They're kind of playing for next year, trying to figure out themselves. They'll probably fire their manager. They're in last place. We'll see what happens with them. But going forward in this series, let's see.
We have 3 more games. It's a 4-game series.
I was hoping that wouldn't have been the case. It would have been 4 with the Royals. I would have been, into that more than 4 with the Blue Jays. But tomorrow, or Friday, I should say, Jack Kohanawentz will get the start. He's 1-3. Chris Bassett, who we thought would get traded from the Blue Jays, will go for the Blue Jays. He's 9-12. Carson Fulmer will go for the Angels on Saturday, and that's a 12:07 start, by the way, for that game on Saturday. Francis, not Jeff, but let's see, one of their younger pitchers. He's 7-3 or 6-3, excuse me. Bowden Francis. He's 28 years of age, out of Florida. State of Florida. And then Sunday at 10:37 will be Tyler Anderson. He's 10-11. And Kevin Gossman, who again I thought would have been traded, he I think picked up a win last week against the Angels. He's 11-9. I know ZRA is kind of high, but I think everybody else's is anyway.
Right.
So based on the 3 matchups here, how do you think the Halos do again with today's game as well? How do you think the four-game series ends up?
I'm going with terrible. They lose 3 out of 4. They always seem to win that one game in the series, or get swept entirely.
Yeah, I could see that. By the way,
not hitting right now.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're not. It's just a mix of all the bad things together. Honestly. Oh, I did fail to mention Luis Guillorme was picked up by the Diamondbacks since Ketel Marte got hurt again. So Guillorme now somewhere else, and he was pretty solid there at second. Maybe not hitting wise, but
I like
fielding.
Guillorme.
Yeah,
I like Guillorme because he didn't hit well, but defensively he moved for a guy that doesn't look like he could move that fast. So it's like, he looks like a beer league softball player out there. But that guy can make some plays. And I was kind of sad. I admired his hustle. I was kind of sad to see him go because of the fact that he put it all out there on the field. He wasn't that great of a hitter, but he made some plays for us. And I liked when he was in the lineup. He gave us more continuity, I guess, in the lineup as far as on defense, anyway. And on occasion, he can hit the ball, but he was just the bench guy. But he was good for us. I mean, as far as for what he was, we have a bunch of bench players, so. I enjoyed watching him play out there. I've seen him sprawl out on a few catches that I didn't think he was going to get to from the infield to the outfield. So we'll see. According to Diamondbacks fans, they didn't like when he was not traded, but picked up over there from the Diamondbacks off of waivers. So
yeah, their offense in Arizona will kind of take a dive, I think, without Marte, but they've been on a rise ever since. Them and the Padres to try to fight the Dodgers off. Mickey Moniak in today's game was hit by a pitch, and he had some left elbow irritation.
Oh, yeah.
So it's probably a bruise, to be honest. Just one of those things where you get hit right on it, and it's just going to hurt for a little bit. It's going to mess with everything you do. I do have to mention Nico Cavades has been called up, and he's been 0 for 13. The first game was Friday for him, and he has struck out 8 times. And we'll end it here with the young core that the Angels have going forward. I don't know if Cavades is part of that. I know he had power numbers over at AAA Salt Lake City. But which guys do you think is part of the young core going forward, and which guys won't be that are still pretty young for you?
For me, I think the core of Neto, Ohapi, Shanwell, and what was the other one? Moniak, and who am I missing? That's all of them, right? Yeah. Anyway, I think going forward, they all have potential to hit 20 homers or more. Each one of these guys, which is amazing. Shonwell right now is more like he's starting to hit for average more, but he can hit bombs. Ohapi, we know what Ohapi is. He's a great catcher. He's a good quarterback out there with a pretty good arm. He does those throws. He can get it down there. He can sling it. His pop time's pretty good. Neto, of course, I don't know why he's not in the running for Rookie of the Year at this point. He's been having one heck of a season out there. He's close to 20 homers now. It's amazing. And then, of course, Moniak and Adele's Adele. He's part of that young core. And Moniak has kind of taken a step back. Good defensively, but his power numbers aren't there right now, at least for this season. But going forward, I think you add Christian Moore to the mix. I think it's going to get even better. And this is something that Perry has been. That's the one thing I think he's going to be known for, is developing this young Halos core going forward. I mean, it has potential to be great if they don't take any steps back. But with this team, you never know what's going to happen. But I really do think that's going to be it's a bright spot, something that I look forward to seeing, next season and beyond. It's going to be that's one thing you can hang your hat on is these young, exciting players. I think down the road you're going to see, if we acquire some free agent signings and the younger prospects turn out to be what we think they're going to turn out to be, I think that's going to be a very special team down the road a few years from now. So if they can maintain it.
Did you mention Ben Joyce?
Oh, Ben Joyce, yes.
I was trying to think, because there's what? There's Ohapi.
There's so many
Neto,
young players
there's
now.
Joyce. There's Shanuel. Those are the five those are the four.
Those are the young core. Right. Ben Joyce has been impressive closing games out, too.
You try to figure out at third or in the infield if there's another one. Maybe Christian Moore when he comes up. That's probably your core four, and then five with Moore. And then you're hoping there's someone that will come up eventually. Now, I do have some breaking news, and it's unfortunate here. But remember George Clausen, the starting pitcher that the Angels got in that Estevez trade. He was able to walk off under his own power, but was taken out of the game today after being hit in the face by a comebacker.
Oh.
That's just so unfortunate to hear. We'll see if that ends his season there. I believe he's been up at Double-A with the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Yeah. So that's unfortunate to hear. They were at MTG. I'm trying to remember where that is, but they're on the road tonight when that happened. So Jared Timms, thank you for that on X. But go on ahead, Milu.
That's terrible. Shades of when Taylor Ward was hit by that pitch. Yeah. In Toronto. But that's just the Angels' luck right there. But hopefully he gets well soon and he's ready. if his season is over, I hope he comes back strong. I'm sure he will next season. But yeah, it's unfortunate news, and we have a lot of these young guys that are showing a lot of promise. I hope they work out. I really do, because we're going to see some exciting baseball in Anaheim if this all goes according to plan. And something to look forward to. We don't have too much to look forward to as Angels fans these days, it seems.
Now, you can say about Perry, how he brought in, especially from this year, the 2 trades that they made at the deadline. They did bring in a lot of prospects. I mean, you got 2 starters eventually for Estevez, who was a free agent, and then who won't rule himself out from coming back to the Angels. And then also you get 4 prospects for Luis Garcia, who's not doing well, I think, with the Red Sox.
No,
so you got to give it up to him. What has his numbers been like there? I haven't really seen in Boston for Garcia.
Not good. I think he has an ERA of over 5 over there.
Wow.
Right now. And he has not been. Yeah, Red Sox fans aren't happy with Luis Garcia.
You trade 4 prospects for this guy?
Right, exactly. For this guy. 4 prospects. Hey, you got to give it to Perry. Maybe that's why you got that extension, because he pulled off one hell of a coup right there.
The only thing is, I would have. I just want to know why they didn't trade Anderson or Ward. Maybe nobody wanted Ward after a while, but Anderson had a winning record, or was close to a winning record at that time. I don't think there was anybody else really. I think Rengifo was injured. Ward is banged up and still playing out there. I guess there wasn't really much else to trade, but I still want to know, and I don't think we'll ever know. No one will ever tell us why Anderson wasn't traded. But I really want to know that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of pitchers that supposedly were going to get moved at the deadline that didn't. There's a lot of them on Toronto staff, But I think it was whatever the market was bearing at that time, and they didn't see an Anderson. They didn't see their whatever going forward. So I think it's to the Angels' benefit because we get one more year of Anderson. Hopefully, he's the same pitcher he is this year, next year. And then we get another year out of Rengifo. He traded. So we have another year of control with Rengifo. And then, Pilar, maybe he comes back to the Angels.
That's the other one. Sorry.
Pilar. He's 35 years old, so there wasn't really a market for him, but he's a good ball player, and possibly if he doesn't retire this year, he comes back to the Angels. We'll see. And I would like for that to happen because I think he's very good for the younger players, and he has a good work ethic, and he does get after it. So we shall see, but I don't know. It was a very odd trade deadline this year. You never know what they're thinking these days. It all started with free agency in the offseason. Nobody was moving, or all the Boris Boris Corp players weren't moved, and then you saw what happened with that debacle. Snell he gets injured when he finally gets picked up by the Giants, and then he didn't come in until like mid-season pretty much. So he didn't pitch a no-hitter. But, most of those guys aren't doing too well. Montgomery, not doing good. So, I don't know. It's been a weird offseason and a weird trade deadline this year. It's just been I'm anxious to see what it's going to be like at this offseason.
And we'll see how those free agency guys go in their contract year, Anderson and Rengifo. Right. If both will ball out and end up getting traded for some pieces that'll help the team in the future. We'll see what happens. We'll end it here. Again, go to Halos in the Infield for all the shows, Cup of Joe, the Lone Star Halo, our show here, James Squared, and then the after every game, the Todd Fox post game show, postcast show,
right.
whatever they want to call it. It's always fun in the chat and everybody who calls in.
We're always in the chat. It's a fun show. It's a fully interactive show right there. I like it.
And also on social media with Fernando's Question of the Day on X, on Instagram, Facebook. Check out our sponsors, Noble Works, Mezzo, 714 Tickets, and Bet Online as well. All the discounts you can find there. And again, that Mezzo Calzones, the Ben Joyce signing on the 31st of August. Be there. I know a lot of people who are going to be there for that. So that's going to be fun. Till next week, Milu. We'll see you next time. And everybody else on James Squared. Take care, folks.
Go Halos.